Hello students, uh, welcome to the field of fluid mechanics. We know the whole fluid mechanics is based on three basic laws. Number one, law of conservation of mass. In fluid mechanics we call it as continuity equation. Number two, law of conservation of momentum, that is Newton's second law of motion. And number three, law of conservation of energy, that is energy equation, or in fluid mechanics we call it as Bernoulli's equation. Daniel Bernoulli has done lot of work in this respect way back maybe 200 years back, and he has proposed the Bernoulli's equation, which is also known as energy equation. There are so many fluid flow phenomena in nature, and various fluid mechanics problems can be solved by either of these laws or equations. Now this Z is known as datum head, P by gamma is known as pressure head, and V square by 2G is known as velocity head, and total head, that is summation of all these three heads, is represented by capital H. There are so many instruments which are developed and they are working based on the Bernoulli's equation or Bernoulli's theorem. Number one is venturimeter, number two is orifice meter, and number three is pitot tube, and there are many other instruments. Now if we focus our attention on venturimeter, it is called as a flow measuring device. It is used to measure the flow through pipes. The flow rate or the discharge can be measured by using venturimeter. Now the similar thing which is also useful in open channel hydraulics is venturi-flume. Now the underlying principle is same, that is Bernoulli's equation. Now let us see something about the construction of venturimeter and the laboratory experiment of calibration of venturimeter. We will see in detail as to how we can measure the rate of flow or discharge by using venturimeter. Now here you can see this is the laboratory setup of venturimeter, wherein you will find there is a 1 inch pipeline, 1 inch means 25 mm, and along this pipeline a venturimeter has been inserted. On upstream we have the supply main or the supply tank, and on downstream we have the measuring tank, wherein we can measure the actual rate of flow. We have to also measure the pressure at inlet and the pressure at throat. Now we get the difference between the pressure at inlet and pressure at throat by using this differential mercury manometer. The pressure difference is obtained in terms of mercury, that we have to convert in the equivalent pressure of the liquid which is flowing through pipe. Now in our case the liquid flowing through pipe is water, so we are going to convert the mercury difference into equivalent head difference of water. After that we are going to measure the actual flow rate by using the measuring tank. You will find one piezometer is attached along the measuring tank. The size of measuring tank is given. Now we will find the time which is required to collect a specified volume. Now the specified volume in this case is the cross sectional area of the tank multiplied by some height of tank. So that will give us the total volume to be collected, and the specified height in our case we will consider it to be 10 centimeter. So we will start counting the measurement of time when the water level in the piezometer is at 5 centimeter, and we will stop counting time when the level rises and reaches up to 15 centimeter. So the difference of height is 10 centimeter. So the cross sectional area multiplied by this 10 centimeter or converted into equivalent metric units, you will get the volume of water collected in the specified time in terms of meter cube. Now the actual discharge Q actual is obtained by dividing this volume by the time required for collection of this volume. That will give us the discharge or flow rate in meter cube per second. Now by using Bernoulli's equation we have to find the theoretical discharge. The equation is Q is equal to Kc root H, where K is also called as the coefficient of discharge. We can also use terminology CD in place of K. C is called as constant of venturimeter, it is given over here, and under root H, where H is the head difference in terms of water in our case. So by using this equation we can get the actual discharge, but theoretical discharge is obtained by using formula Q theoretical is equal to C root H, where C is constant of venturimeter and H is the mercury head difference converted into equivalent head of water. So it is the pressure difference between the two limbs of the differential mercury manometer. After that, the calculation of CD is like this: CD is equal to ratio of Q actual upon Q theoretical. So the CD value obtained in our case is around 0.95, and you will find that the approximate average value of coefficient of discharge in case of venturimeter is around 0.98, but the actual value obtained in laboratory is in the close proximity of this value. And once you find out the CD values for the over the range of discharge, after that we can plot a graph of Q actual versus H. Now let us see the Bernoulli's equation in detail. This is Bernoulli's equation. H is equal to Z plus P by gamma plus V square by 2G is equal to constant. That means the summation of these three heads, Z is datum head, P by gamma is pressure head, and V square by 2G is velocity head, is always constant in a given system of flow. Now there is mutual interchange or exchange among all these three heads. It means sometimes Z increases, it means when the pipe is inclined like this and the flow is taking place from bottom to top in this manner, in that case the Z is increasing. Now for Z to increase, somebody has to contribute to this Z. It means if Z is increasing like this, then either P by gamma has to be reduced or V square by 2G has to be reduced, or both of them have to be reduced to some extent, then only Z can increase. And this is how the total head is constant, and whenever there is some change in some of the heads, then the other two heads are also getting affected, but the summation of all these three heads is always constant, and that is equal to H. Whatever changes are occurring, these changes are occurring among these three heads only. Now we will see this thing with the help of one practical demonstration. Now let us try to understand Bernoulli's equation in detail with the help of this practical demonstration. This is the datum head Z, this is pressure head P by gamma, and this is velocity head V square by 2G. Now as per Bernoulli's equation, the sum total of all these three heads is equal to H, and that is always constant. Now if at all we consider the case of venturimeter, wherein at the initial stage there is a convergent pipe. After inlet we have a convergent portion wherein the diameter or the cross sectional area goes on decreasing. Now as per continuity equation, we know the product of area and velocity is always constant. Now as area decreases, the velocity is ought to increase, so that the product of area and velocity will remain constant. Now we can easily understand that as the area decreases, so as we reach up to the throat of venturimeter, the velocity must increase. It means this velocity head must increase. Now how this velocity will increase? It will only increase when the pressure head or datum head will contribute some part of it to this velocity head, then only it can increase. Now if we consider in our case the pipe is horizontal, it means the venturimeter is horizontal, it means the datum head is constant. So there is no question of contribution from datum head. So the only remaining option is the pressure head. So pressure head must contribute to the velocity head, so that velocity will increase. So you will find the pressure head has contributed to the velocity head has increased to some extent, but at the same time the pressure head has decreased because it has contributed to the velocity head. Now this is what is happening in the venturimeter. This is the reason why when you measure the pressure at inlet and the pressure at throat, you will find the pressure decreases, and the same thing has been proved with the help of this practical demonstration also. Now after throat, in the throat we have minimum cross sectional area. After that the cross section of venturimeter again goes on increasing and it becomes equal to the parent pipe only. If you look at the length of convergent cone and length of divergent cone, you will find the length of convergent cone is small as compared to the length of divergent cone. This is because if we provide the same length of divergent cone, there are chances of occurrence of separation of flow. So to avoid that we have to gradually expand the cross sectional area of divergent cone. Now as in the divergent cone, you will find the area is increasing. So as per continuity equation, again the velocity should decrease and in turn the pressure will increase. It means, see, this is what is going to happen. The velocity head is decreasing, so I am reducing the velocity head. So velocity head is contributing back to the pressure head, so pressure will increase and velocity will decrease. This is what is happening in the venturimeter. Now you can see this is the close view of the laboratory setup of calibration of venturimeter. You can see how the pressure tappings of inlet and throat are connected to the mercury differential manometer, and the water is flowing from left to right through the pipeline and it is getting collected into the measuring tank. Here you can see the piezometer along with a measuring scale is attached by the side of measuring tank. Now we have added the color pigment, that is potassium permanganate, for better visibility. So you can easily see how the water is flowing. Now you can have a closed look at the levels of mercury in the differential mercury manometer, and the difference is proportional to the discharge flowing through pipe. This is the close view of piezometer. Hello friends, welcome again to the fluid mechanics laboratory. We know venturimeter is a flow measuring device and it is used to measure the flow through pipe. Now we will see various components parts of this laboratory setup. This is the inlet of the venturimeter, then the convergent cone is there wherein the diameter goes on decreasing. This is the throat portion where the diameter is minimum, it is almost half of that of inlet, and this is the divergent cone wherein the area goes on increasing gradually. So this is the whole pipeline, and we have the recirculation system. This is the supply tank and this is the centrifugal pump. So water is pumped into the pipeline and it flows from left to right. It falls into the measuring tank and again it joins the supply tank. This is called as bypass pipe. We can operate the bypass valve and we can control the discharge along with the main valve connected on the main pipeline. We can operate these valves simultaneously for controlling the discharge. Now these are the different readings to be taken. This is the pressure at inlet. The pipe is connected to the left limb of the mercury differential manometer, and this is the throat connection given to the right limb of the mercury differential manometer. So on mercury differential manometer we are going to get the pressure difference between inlet and throat. Now here you can see in the left limb the reading is 60 mm and in the right limb it is 130 mm. So difference is 70 mm. This is called as differential head. Now we will see how the water is entering into the measuring tank. It is collected in the measuring tank and this is called as piezometer, and we have also the measuring scale by the side of piezometer, so that we can measure the rise of water in the measuring tank. Now I am closing the outlet valve so that the water is getting collected into the measuring tank, and you can see how the level of water is rising into the piezometer. So it is representing the same level inside the measuring tank. So we will start counting time maybe at say 5 centimeter, and we will stop counting time at 15 centimeter, so that the total rise is 10 centimeter. Now we can easily find out the volume of water as area of cross section, the plan area of cross section of tank multiplied by this rise of 10 centimeter. That will give us the total volume collected to the measuring tank. And if we divide it by the time, then volume by time will give us actual discharge. Now I am going to slowly reduce the discharge. You can see how the changes of mercury levels, those are occurring into the mercury differential manometer. As the flow rate is reduced, the difference has also reduced. Now slowly I am going to increase the discharge by opening the valve. You can see as I increase the discharge, the mercury difference is also increasing. It means the mercury level difference is proportional to the discharge. Now we are going to measure the actual discharge. I am closing the outlet valve. The water has started rising. Now I am starting the stopwatch when the level of water in the piezometer reaches at 5 centimeter. And I am going to stop the measurement of time when the level reaches at 15 centimeter. So the total time measurement corresponds to the total height of water. Now this is how you can have different discharges. First of all, you have to measure the mercury difference in the differential mercury manometer. Then you have to measure the actual discharge by measuring the time required for collection of specified volume of water. Now once you plot the graph between Q actual versus H, where Q actual is the actual discharge passing through the venturimeter or the pipeline, and H is the mercury head difference expressed in terms of water, you will get this type of curve wherein you will find that the discharge is proportional to the head difference in the mercury manometer. And as you go on increasing the discharge, the CD value slowly goes on increasing, and you will get a proportionate relation between actual discharge and the head difference. Afterwards you can find the average of coefficient of discharge, and the value is roughly equal to 0.98. Thank you.